Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here, back again with Mob Psycho 100. This is the first video I'm recording after Christmas. So yeah, for those exclusive tier patrons that are watching this right now, hope you had a really good Christmas. And for those that are watching this on YouTube, the general public, this will probably be out sometime just after the New Year. So for those guys, I hope you had a good Christmas and a New Year as well. So yeah, Mob Psycho 100, we're back. We're going to be on episode 9, I think it is, yeah. So, in the last episode, we had, or I guess sort of coupled with the last couple episodes, Ritsu has, his psychic powers have actually been awakened. He kind of went off the deep end a bit, but I think he's back though. I think he went off the deep end for a slight moment, but I think seeing Mob get beat up a bit probably brought him back, because yeah, Mob had a tough fight last episode, and it was great. I loved it. It's nice to see, like, you know, that kind of actual, like, a bit of competition and not just like an easy fight, you know. So yeah, I like that. So yeah, Ritsu and a bunch of the other the other psychic children that came from the Awakening Lab being kidnapped and are being taken to a facility that is being run by Claw, who is a group of sort of psychics that I'm guessing are kind of wanting to, you know, take over the world essentially. And they've got a lot of members. They've got over 100. So yeah. So I think we ended off the last episode with Mob and Teriki sort of partnering up to do this. I hope that's the case, because you know, Teriki's a funny lad. But yeah, I guess we'll just see. So yeah, I think without further ado, we're just gonna get number 9, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 9 of Mob Psycho season 1. Yeah, right, so we got a look at the sort of inner workings of Claw, like the fact that, what, 7th Division. So I'm guessing when Teriki was mentioning that this Claw group had over 100 members, that 7th Division is just a part of that. Like, it's not a case of like Claw 7th Division has over 100 members and then there's even more in each fucking division. I'm guessing that 100 members is the overall group, as opposed to just the 7th Division, because well, that'll be fucking insane. So I didn't get everybody's name. I mean, I'm sure as they all become like into, like, as soon as they start coming into the fray and they'll start getting like their sort of chance to fight and whatnot, I'll get their names down. But yeah, so this episode we got Terada, who was sort of, he kind of just went on his own individual mission to go take out Mob, and didn't fare so well at all. So they're called Scars. So every single one of they're not leaders, they're just called the upper echelon, and they all have scars. But we've got Ishiguro, who is the 7th Division leader, who yeah, God knows. Who knows what is under that mask. So yeah, I love the sort of the differences in powers. It seems like it's not just a case of, like, when we were first getting introduced to some of them, like, obviously at the start, before, like, I don't know, what episode was it, like, it might have been like episode 5 or 6 before we even found out that there was other kind of powers, or different types of psychic abilities and stuff. It's not even, you know, it's not even as simple as you know, being telepathic, telekinetic, pyrokinetic, or whatever it was. You know, having clairvoyance and stuff like that, but it's actually more down to sort of detail, like the different sort of powers that people have, because apparently Teraki, I'm guessing this is a part of his sort of his power is to be able to learn quick. Because literally just by having a fight with Teradai, he said he was able to pick up like how to use whips and stuff. I mean, I'm guessing that's what it is, because I can't really figure out what else it would be, because then it would just be like basic, like just, you know, straight up telekinetic, which you know, I think there's a different sort of, like, you can have like telekinetic, because I think Mob and Teraki are the same, right? Like their powers are very, like, you know, base similar, like they're telekinetic. They can pick stuff up with their mind and throw it around and stuff. But I think there's sort of like branches that branch off that, like sort of like goes like there's a down to a finer detail about what a certain, you know, psychic can do, and Teraki's might be able to just take on, like, you know, how to use it in different ways. I don't know, but we'll have to see, because I'm not even sure if Mobs is sort of like his 100 state is 100% state, where it all explodes out of him. I don't know if that is classified as his sort of his power, you know what I mean? I wouldn't know. Speaking of which, when he went up against fucking whatchamacallit again, this episode, he lasted next to nothing. And like, that's nuts, because last episode, right, he was getting beat to fuck, and that was with Mob going into, like, you know, and it was at 100% state. Whereas in this one, he didn't even do anything. He didn't even have to go beyond that. He just fucking he just held him in place where he couldn't move, and then threw him around. So yeah, and I don't know if it's a case of like if there's like an evolution type state where it's sort of like they're able to evolve as it goes along kind of thing. And maybe that's why Mob's power is the way it is, because it came about because of his sort of mental state, right? Like, he would keep all of his emotions trapped inside, and therefore that's the reason why he is the way he is. So I'm wondering if it's sort of like an evolution type thing where like that's how people's power is sort of comes about. Because in that regard, you know, I can kind of see that being, you know, it's very similar to One Punch Man in that regard. And since it's, you know, made by the same guy, you know, someone has told me that, like, he's not the greatest, like, he's not like the greatest sort of like writer, and you know what I mean? He sort of hasn't had like a long time with stories or whatever. He hasn't had time to sort of, you know, master his craft. So I can kind of see him possibly have, you know, there couldn't be a lot of similarities made between this and One Punch Man, so maybe that could be the case. Because in One Punch Man, I know, like, the powers that people have are by, like, you know, either what they're passionate about or what they, like, you know, force themselves to do. You know, Saitama is, like, the reason why he's the strongest in the universe, because that's what he pushed himself to be. So there could be a similar thing here in that, like, you know, what you do, or, you know, how your sort of life goes sort of affects how your power works, maybe. I don't know. And also I want to know if it's a case of, like, does everybody have the potential to be a psychic? Or is it just, you know, is it a case of, like, is it passed down through generations and families? Or, you know, or is it in everyone and it just takes something, like, to, you know, to kind of to activate it? I don't know. Hopefully we got some answers to those. So yeah, fuck, who was it? Kaito? I was like, fuck, this show got dark quick. I was like, I was not expecting that. Like, I was like, you know what I mean? There's so much, like, this show allows for so much, like, you know, comedy and comedic moments that when I heard the squelch noise when he was behind the door, I was like, it's going to be something stupid in it. It's going to be like, you know, it's going to be like I don't know, strawberry jam or something. Or it's going to be completely like something else. Basically making you think, you know, that Muto had done him in, but he actually didn't. And fuck, they got me, because I was like, shit, like, no way did that just happen. That fucking got me. Yeah, fuck it. Ritsu, his potential. I don't know what, like, how would they even measure that? I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, again, I kind of think this probably goes with, like, that question of, like, is it passed down through generations and stuff? Because if it is, then is it possible that Mob's so powerful because of it's inherited in his family? Though there hasn't been any confirmation that that Mob's and Ritsu's parents actually have any psychic ability, right? Although it could be a thing where it skips a generation. Could be that. I don't know, because we don't know the backstory. I think if there is probably anything that this show does fall flat on, it's sort of like that world building. You know, and I think that's probably where, like what I was saying about before, about how the mangaka probably, you know, he doesn't have sort of that, he hasn't mastered that art of storytelling yet, so that'll probably be where, yeah, it falls flat as the sort of world building and sort of like, you know, what, like how everything works. Because you know, I could have seen it being like My Hero when in the first episode, where they kind of just lay everything out in like the first, you know, like 5-10 minutes about how like the world works and everything like that, and they could have just had it like that. But yeah, but it's alright. It's alright. So yeah, Muto, the guy who killed Kaito or whatever his name is. So he has an illusion type power. So yeah, it's mad, because I was never expecting like psychics and the sort of the different sort of branches of that kind of power all being into that sort of psychic power. So they're able to go down to that, you know, that point of they can, you know, make illusions and stuff. That's crazy. The sort of the crew that's inside, like Ritsu and all the kids and whatnot. I love the little creative use of power that they had, because they don't have an extensive, like, you know, they don't have a lot of power. So I'm just sitting here and I'm like, how are they ever going to get out? Like they've got, like, you know, some of them just seem like they're practically useless. But I love the creative use of the power, especially with the what's his name, Asahi, the guy who's got the pyrokinetic power, heating up the spoon to the point where the metal melts. I mean, that is a lot of fucking, like, that is hot fire as well. That burns hot if you're able to fucking melt a spoon on it. I mean, yeah, it's kind of nuts. But I like how the basically made it so that it was soft, like it was soft enough to melt, and then stuffed it into the keyhole to sort of form the like sort of the lock, or the key, so that you could actually unlock the gate. I like that. So that was really cool. And yeah, I think that's all we've got for episode 9. So I'm going to get an episode 10 next. Yeah, I don't know if we are going to get, because I think there's only 3 episodes left, right? So I think I don't think it's going to be a case of, I mean, it might, nah, I don't think so. I was going to ask if it's going to be a case of, like, we're going to, over the next course of these 3 episodes, you know, go up against all of 7th Division, and then we're going to end the series with them defeating the 7th Division. I don't think that's the case, because there's a lot of other guys right there, you know? So, yeah, we might be saving those, or some of those, for, like, next season or whatever, but we'll only know until we watch. But yeah, that is all for episode 9. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I have links to certain things. One is the Discord. I urge everyone to go over there, especially if you want to. In fact, no, yeah, go to the Discord just to come hang out with me and the guys. You know, everyone's accepted there. So yeah, get yourself over there. My website, there's a link down there, SirMonkeySuit.com. That's where all my content is. Every single video that I've ever made is all the way up on there, so you can go over there and have a look and see what's available. Also, the forums and whatnot is there, so get yourself signed up and become a member. There's like a reaction recommendations, page on the forum where you can get your recommendations in there, and the top 10 liked shows requested will be put into a poll for the next show. And Patreon, so I do have a Patreon. If you do want to support me, that would be very much appreciated. There's a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So go through them, a couple of them now. It's like $5 a month, that's the early access. So for that, you gain access to all of the shows I do a week early. Also for Fate and Psychopaths, you actually get 4 episodes a week. So get yourself over there and get that if you want extra episodes and all that good stuff. $10 a month, full length. So everything I read to gets a full length. You get access to the full length library. $15 a month, that's the exclusive tier. So for that, you gain access to a bonus show. Which this was a bonus show, as it's up on YouTube for the general public now, though something else will be exclusive, okay? So make sure you go over and check out what that is. Also, all OVA reactions, all movie reactions go in the exclusive tier as well. $50 a month is the elite tier, so for that you gain access, you get a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It'll go to the back of the list behind about 7 shows, so it might take me a while to get round to them. And the $100 a month is the God tier, and that means that your show actually gets put to the front, so that your show will be reacted to next. But that is all, so thank you for watching, I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.